All right, Shalom. First and foremost, of course, all praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And I just wanted to do a little video, just reflecting on a few faults I've had over the past few days. There's a situation that came up. Somebody offered me, some Doritos, right? Someone offered me some, of those Dorito chips, which I used to, eat those back in the day, man. Same thing with, what is it, the Slim Jims, right? And the damn, Rice Krispies. I'd always like to have those back, a few years back. But then I found out that all of those mentioned, they contain pork in it, right? If you look on the back of the container, of the box or bag, whatever it's in, you can read the ingredients, and it might not literally say, made with pork on it, but this is why you have to look into certain ingredients, okay? Because the ingredients that are put into the the foods are made with ingredients of themselves. I'll give an example. Dealing with the marshmallows, they have, what is the gelatin? Yeah, the gelatin contains pork, right? The gelatin comes from pigs, and you can do the research on it. Okay, but I'm just putting that out there. Okay, so same thing with the Doritos, man, which I'm not sure the exact ingredient that it is, but I've looked it up before on the bag, and then I looked into the ingredients of it, and it's made with with pork, right? Some type of part of the pig, okay, that is put into the ingredients. And that just shows you, man, that the food that we're eating is defiled over here, man, right? Everything is, first of all, it's unnatural, right? Because it's all processed and put together. All right, so that's unnatural in and of itself. Okay, but you got to watch what you're eating, man. Okay, because excuse me if I sound a little weird. It is cold out in my current location, so excuse that. But it just shows you, man. Okay, you have to be diligent. Just don't eat something just for the sake of eating. I'll give an example, right? I would eat the beef jerkies, and I never thought to look in the back of the container, because what? It says beef jerky, right? So I thought it would be made with beef. Then as I was eating them one day, I was watching a brother's, video from Great Millstone, and he mentioned, oh yeah, just like these, certain foods made with pork, and then he mentioned beef jerkies. Of course, as I'm sitting there eating them, like literally sitting there eating one as I'm watching the video. Then he said that. I was like, wait, let me rewind that. What did he say? And then, I rewind it, and he said, yeah, beef jerky, or the Slim Jims have, pork in them. So I was like, oh, really? So I looked on the back of the container, right? I looked on the back of the box I got them in. And then, of course, what does it say? It says that they're made with pork. It literally says that on the box. But, I never thought to look, because it says beef jerky, right? Not pork jerky. Okay? So, it shows you, man, that you have to look into the things that you eat. Okay, but going back to a situation that happened the other day, where somebody offered me some chips, some of the Doritos, and I was like, oh, no thank you. But they were like, oh, I thought you liked these, right? That's why I got you a bag of them. And I was like, oh, but they're made with pork. And they were like, oh, I didn't know that. But they said, but my pastor told me that, that was, back then, right? That was, a long time ago, that people didn't eat that. But, my pastor said that today, you can eat those things. Which, I wasn't going to get, in it with the individual, because, the scriptures speak about a wise man will hold his tongue, all right, because it was a relative of mine, so some people are not ready to know about this, this information. Okay, so, the point is that, that statement's leading a lot of people astray, man, because these Catholics, right, hell, look, you can't have a Catholic get-together without somebody bringing the ham, after the, church service. Okay, you can't have a Christian get-together as far as the Catholics go, without someone bringing the ham after. So remember, the doctrine is that all foods are made clean, which clearly is not true. Okay, we've done videos in the past, clearly proving that. Okay, give an example. You have that one cat out there, calls himself G-Man, right? G-Man, look him up on YouTube. He teaches that, hey, look, if you want, you can eat a mouse sandwich if you want, right? You can eat a mouse sandwich, right? You can eat pork all you want. You can have shellfish and lobster. You can have all of that, or you can have shrimp. That's all clean, right? All Christ made all things clean. But here's the problem with that. Go to Isaiah 66, verse 17. It says what? That they who eat the mouse and the pig will be consumed together, says the Lord. And if you go to the 2 verses above, it's speaking about Christ's second coming. So clearly that hasn't happened yet. So the question is, well, why are these people being killed for eating this food? Why? Because it goes against the dietary laws. Okay, but these churches, they don't teach that, man. As I said, these churches are leading people astray, man. Okay, so it's just, you don't want to be like these guys, man. Okay, you don't want to be like these churchgoers out here, man, that are willingly breaking the commandments. No, we're telling, hey, look, the Hebrew Israelites, no, we're telling the people to come back to keeping the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. That's what we're telling our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the Lord's chosen people, like the lost tribes of the children of Israel. We're telling the people to come back to following these laws, man. Okay, but the Christians are out here saying, oh, no, you can do what you want, right? You can do anything now because the law's done away. And wait a second, if the law's done away, well, I have a question for you. And this goes for a Christian out there, right? Because they'll say, excuse me, they'll say that, well, the law's done away with. Well, wait a second. Let's roll with that logic for a second. If the law's done away with, well, wait a second. So that means that, men laying with men, that means that that's not a sin anymore, right? It means that abortion's not a sin anymore. It means murder's not a sin anymore. It means adultery's not a sin anymore. By logic, it would have to mean those things. Because if the law is done away, well, there's no sin, because according to 1 John chapter 3, verse 4, it says that sin is the transgression of God's laws. So if there are no laws to follow, well, then that means there can't be sin. And wait a second, there's a deeper meaning to this. If there is no sin, according to the Christian doctrine, nobody can go to hell then. Which we don't subscribe to the hell in that context, of course. But I'm saying according to their understanding. How are people going to go and burn in hell if they can't sin because there's no law to break? Don't make any damn sense. They go to I believe it's, what is it? Revelation 22, I believe. And Revelation, the 14th chapter, I believe it's the 12th verse. It says, here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Here are they who keep the commandments of God. What are God's commandments? Oh, which, by the way, there's more than 10 of them, by the way. So one character came on there and said that you only had to follow the 10 commandments, which clearly isn't true. There's more than 10 commandments in the scriptures. That's a whole nother video, so I don't want to get off onto that here. But, it proves the point. Okay, it proves the point, man, that these, churches don't know what the hell's going on, man. These churches are leading the people astray. Okay, but, we're telling the people to come back to follow these laws, these statutes, and these commandments, man. Okay, because they look, as we've proven, if you're willingly out there eating these things, well, that can cost you your salvation, man. Let me give a little story real quick. Bear with me a second. I remember this one time, a few years back, I was eating at, what was it, the Popeyes restaurant? Which I remember, what was it, right, Alizé, right, the inside joke, chief priest, the chief priest of today, right, Alizar, inside joke, right, the guerrilla Hebrew of Sakari. He got shot at Popeye's Chicken one time. You can ask him, right, he got shot. I remember watching that on the news a few years back. But yeah, I was at Popeye's one time, man. This was a few years back, but I got myself, what is it, a damn $5 box, right, where they have the damn, biscuit, the chicken and the mashed potatoes in there. So I was eating, my chicken, right? And keep in mind, I ordered chicken. I didn't order, pork. I didn't order shrimp. I ordered chicken. Okay? So I was eating the chicken, and there was, some which looked like little, chicken bites in there that I was eating as well. And then one of them I had, and as I was eating, I was like, oh, that tastes strange. That tastes strange. I don't really know what this is, because I'm not one who really eats much seafood. But then it clicked. It's like, oh shit, that's a shrimp, right? So I didn't realize that until after, of course I swallow it, because I was, as I'm eating, I'm not unfamiliar with the, seafoods, because I've never really been one who ate much of that. But as I'm thinking, as I'm eating, it's like, oh, that tastes strange, right? I don't know what that is. Then after I swallow it, because I didn't think at the time, then it clicked, of course, that, oh shit, that's a damn shrimp. Right? Because I've had them, way back in the past when I was little. I'm sure I've had maybe one or two of them. Because I used to eat, these unclean foods back then, which majority of us did as well, But it's like, oh shit, but hey, guess what? It wasn't my fault though, because I didn't know, right? I was unaware that's what it was, right? I ordered chicken, and then there was somehow a little, shrimp got put in there with my chicken. Right? So I was unaware of that. I didn't intentionally eat that. I was unaware that unclean food was put in it. So in that situation, the Lord will forgive you for it. Okay, for unknowingly consuming that. Same thing with the when I used to eat, the Doritos, the Slim Jims, and the what is it, the marshmallows. Right? I was unaware at the time that those foods contain pork in them. So now that I know, now I have to abstain from eating those type of foods. Right? Now that I'm aware that those foods are unclean, that contain unclean, animal in them, that means, hey, now I got to stay away from it. Right? Hey, I didn't know back then, but now that I'm aware, now I can't eat it anymore. Why? Because you had to follow the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. To the best of your ability. All right. So, I just want to give a few thoughts on that, man. Okay, because it's really, it's crazy, man. These Christians are out here saying that you can eat these foods. You ask them, well, why do you believe that? It's like, oh, well, Christ done away with the law. It's like, okay, well, wait, well, how is there sin then? How is there sin if there's no law to follow? And they don't know the answer to that. They're just repeating things for the sake of saying it. That's all they're doing. Right? They don't really know what the hell is going on, man. Oh, and then here's another one. Right? Here's another good cut. And I brought this up to Mike when he joined the show. I brought up, what is that, 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter. Right? There were 7 brothers who the king commanded them to all to eat swine's flesh, but guess what? They all said, you know what? We're not going to do it. Right? We're not going to eat pork. We'll rather die than to distrust the commandments. So guess what? The king brutally put those men to death just because they didn't eat swine's flesh, right? Pork. So you're telling me that was all in vain? Right now it's okay to eat those foods? Those men were just killed because they didn't eat the food when the king commanded them to do so. Why did they not do it? Because that was unclean food. Okay? So, as I said, man, Christianity is one of the biggest jokes on the planet, man. Or I should say the plain inside joke. But just clear, man. Right, that these so-called pastors out here, man, are leading the people in the wrong direction, man. All right, so going back to what I quoted earlier, Revelation 14, I believe it's verse 12, it says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And these are they who keep the commandments of God. I'm nearly paraphrasing the text, but you can go read it yourself. As I said, I believe that's Revelation 14, verse 12, if I'm not mistaken. But it says what? These are they who keep the commandments of God. Well, what are the commandments of God? The commandments of the Most High are talking about the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. Okay? So how the hell can you Christians be part of that if you don't keep the commandments? That's all I got to say about that. I'm a say shalom. If anybody made it this far into the video, go ahead and put hashtag unclean in the comment section. Anyway, shalom.